Have you ever felt left out at a networking event? If you have ever been in that situation, stick around. Today's video is for you. Hey guys, it's Erica Kastner. And since 2006, I've been helping busy professionals connect and communicate with more confidence. And today we're talking about the dreadful networking cliques that perhaps maybe you have been either on the other side of trying to break through, or perhaps maybe you've been a part of one and witnessed maybe some mean behavior. But I want to really kind of break through some limiting beliefs today on how we can actually avoid what we can do to break through the limiting beliefs around networking and cliques. I've got some notes here so we can stay on track. And the first one I really want to break down for you all today is simply this. Oftentimes when we're at a networking event, it's a temporary thing, right? Because generally we may or may not see those people outside of the networking event tomorrow, right? But when we are in a big cluster or we witness a big cluster of people, most generally, it's not the people that are in the group that are the problem. It's generally us. And let me tell you what I mean. For a lot of us, we might not feel as confident going into that circle. I want to tell you a quick story. When I worked for the Chamber of Commerce way back in the day, this was actually a big fear that kept a lot of our first year members from renewing membership because they would come to a networking event and they felt like all they did when they came to networking events was hang out by the meat and cheese platters at these events instead of engaging in conversations. Now, we would have anywhere from 50 to 150 people show up at events, so it was very challenging sometimes for me to pull the newbies away from the food and get them connected into the room. So a lot of it has to deal with your internal confidence to get out there and rock and roll. So my first tip of the day is, what can you do to shift your energy, your mindset into working that room? What can you do in your car before you walk into the venue that this networking event is going to be in? Can you listen to a motivational book? Can you listen to a motivational song? Is there an upbeat song that you can listen to really get your mojo flowing before you walk into that venue? So what can you do to rev up your energy? Number two, what can you do to strike up the conversation? I know sometimes in big perception cliques, right, we have a tendency to think, okay, how am I going to break into this circle? Well, if we can shift the energy to how can we approach at least one person in the circle and build a connection with that person, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier to get inside of that circle. So I like to think of it this way. If you know one person in the circle, what can you do to at least make eye contact, strike up a conversation? If you don't, what can you do to at least pay a compliment to that person, strike up a conversation? It's easy if we can focus our energy on one person. How can you distract, or not distract in a bad way, but how can you really connect with one person as opposed to the 5 or 6 that might be standing in that circle? Number 3. Are you congruent in your message across the board? And let me tell you what I mean by that. If you were pretending to be nice at a networking event because you want to build relationships there, but then you're a negative Nelly on social media channels and everywhere else in your life and business, is that necessarily congruent with your messaging? Well, probably not. So what can you do to shift your message to make it more congruent across the board? Well, could you perhaps maybe clean up your social media profiles if in fact that you find yourself a little more negative Nelly? Could you pick up the pace a little bit if you feel like you're a little more mopey or negative Nelly at networking events, but you're positive Polly on social media channels? You see what I mean? So get to a point where you feel like that you can actually level up or be more consistent and congruent in all areas of your life. And if you need support in those areas, if you feel like you need some up-leveling in some aspects of your life, that's what coaches are for. That's what mentors are for. because they can look at your situation from a higher level view and help you sort those things out. Because let's face it, I don't do anything without that higher level of accountability because I need it just like we all need it, right? So I hope you found this really helpful when it comes to feeling like you can shift that mindset when it comes to getting out of the limiting beliefs around networking cliques. I have tons of other tips just like this. I would love to learn more about your current areas of focus and how I can support you when it comes to connecting and communicating with more confidence in your business and in your life. So let's connect. I would love to connect with you over at thequeenofresults.com/contact. Enter a little bit of information about you so I can learn more about your current areas of focus and how I can support you over at thequeenofresults.com/contact. Until next time, I'm Erica Kastner. Take care.